Solutions are not defined by the systems that oppressors built. I'm going to say that again. Our solutions are not defined. They are brutalizing us.
Or doing what you got to do. Be very careful. Be super careful, because they coming for people's heads. And I'm talking about black and brown folks. So just make sure that y'all stay safe. And do what you got to do. I'm not policing anybody's, no pun intended. I'm not policing anybody's protest or anybody's rage. Do what you got to do, but just make sure that y'all take into account what's going on. A lot of these police officers are working like they're already fucked up. They're already continuing the legacy of slave catching. They are slave catchers, right? And they operating in that capacity. On top of that, they're angry. Their ego is bruised. They can't control shit. We're too powerful for them. And they wanna make examples of folks. And on top of that, they're working overtime.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book, you know what time it is. We're going to be talking to you guys about Kendrick Sampson. He is one of the actors on Insecure. You might have seen him on How to Get Away with Murder. You also might have seen him on Flash. You might also have seen him on other various TV shows. But he was on the front line the other day, and he got shot by rubber bullets and was also abused by the police. And we're going to talk a little bit about his experience and talk about how this is affecting us as a black generation going forward. Hey, if you are new to the channel, then you need to do me and do yourself a favor. Make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe to the channel, because you ain't got the minerals. But for those of you who are returnees, you have the minerals, you have the minerals. Zabadaba. Alright, let's get into the video. So, Kendrick Sampson is, as I said, famous for his roles on Insecure, How to Get Away with Murder, and Flash, and various other TV shows. But he actually gave us a POV point of view on the front line the other day, or earlier in the hours of today, where he was shot with rubber bullets. And it's such a shame to see someone go through that. And experience that, you know. What was tiring and painful was the fact that we see this as a regular basis over and over and over again. And actually, when he shows us the video, you can see that, obviously, this thing starts off positive. You can see here. And very quickly it descends into anarchy from the police side of things. And the reason why is because their job here is to be intimidating. And it's no different to being in the season of slave ownership, right? When they formed these police forces, like in the South at the time when they had slavery, when slavery was when they were coming out of slavery, they formed what we call slave patrols. So although although they were trying to give black people freedom, they still formed slave patrols to start capturing people on their plantation fields. So it's like crazy that would happen, but that then ends up forming into a police force, right? And so the same thing with UK also. They called them I don't even know what they called them. Something they called it some crazy name. But I think it was Stupendi, whatever. But what we're saying is this: because of the institutionalized racism and the mindset they've come into it, there has been a viewpoint that blacks are less than. Yeah, they're animals. They don't deserve quality, proper treatment, right? And so firing rubber bullets from like 2 meters away from the person is ludicrous, absolute madness. But that's what we saw, right? And he shows us some of his cuts and bruises that he's got from the bullets. Like, this is stupid. There was no need for that, to be that up close and personal. And it's because they're so rooted in trying to intimidate and try to put people at a lower level, that this is the type of behavior they did. Now, obviously, they didn't want no blood in their, they didn't want more blood in their hands, so the rounds are not live. You get me? They're rubber. But this is crazy stuff, and it's funny because we're seeing a turn of events in this season where we're standing up for ourselves. And how that looks is that we're protesting, we're marching, we're taking bullets, we're taking fire, we're getting shot at, we're doing what Martin Luther King also had to face, and other people like him, Malcolm X and such, Rosa Parks and stuff. And I'm sure there are other great names, because I haven't done my research as deep, so please don't kill me. I'm sure there are other people than our obvious main perpetrators. But, to see him on the front line going through that.
Solutions are not defined by the systems that oppressors built. I'm going to say that again. Our solutions are not defined. They are brutalizing us right now. And
wasn't ever meant to keep peace. It wasn't ever meant to hold people accountable. It was literally meant to brutalize folks. It was literally meant to hunt us down and kill us or catch us and put us back in slavery.
America was founded on racism, anti-blackness, and genocide. When you talk about America, don't leave that shit out.
I just want to give a shout out to Kendrick because he has been about this life. He has been about representing the underrepresented. He has always been about fighting for our equality, fighting for our humanity, and has
It's been a long
was a madness, right? And when you see a celebrity go through that, the whole world can see that because they have a bigger following and influence. Not only that, as well, there was another point of view that he showed where there was a young man, white, I think it was a white guy as well, who was shouting, saying that the people hurling abuse and throwing, throwing bottled water and stuff like that was actually undercover police. Now, just in case you think that we're cracking a joke, listen, I was on Twitter and we were saying that the police were using a method of communication to show who was undercover. They have a white band around their arm, right? Or a coloured band at the time, because different colours can mean different things, right? So they had a form of communication to show who they were undercover cops. So if we're spotting that in the crowd as people who are trying to instigate, we know that's not us. We're not trying to throw water bottles at you. That's our undercover police officers trying to incite. Again, this is the agent provocateur that we're talking about again, once more. And so this guy got arrested. So the guy who was shouting, saying that the undercover police are the one doing it, ends up getting beaten up and arrested by the police and taken away. Wow. So now what we're doing is we're rounding up. This is similar to Hong Kong. We're rounding up the leaders, those who are actually standing strong, those who are leading protests. They're the ones that are being rounded up. They're the ones that are being taken away. They're the ones that are being brutalized now because they want to stop what they're seeing right now. But the truth of the matter is, this is anarchy happening because, like I said, this is the language of those who have been unheard. We have marched. We have protested. We have gone to the lawmakers. We've taken it down legal routes. When that doesn't happen no more, it reminds me of Israel and Egypt all over again. We gave you frogs. We gave you boils. We gave you darkness. We gave you hailstones. We gave you locusts. And yet still, we gave you everything and you're still not giving the people up. All right, the death of your firstborn. Keep playing. Death of your firstborn now. So it's like the same kind of thing. It's like you keep trying. That's what I said. I see there's such similarity between Egypt and Israel. Let my people go. The Bible says, let my people go. God had it in mind. He had a way. And he knew that Pharaoh's heart was going to be hard. He said, all right, go, continue. We know this white people's heart is going to be hard. And revolution will come without blood. And it's like you're forcing the hand of people to do these things. And eventually blood will have to be shed. Because if you keep trying to kill us, eventually people fight back. Now, if you know anything about the history of slavery, which they don't often teach us because they don't want you to know that your ancestors stood up. They don't want you to know that your ancestors died. They don't want you to know that some of your ancestors fought back and won. Like, you know, if you look at even like, for instance, Jamaica, they had what we call the Maroon Clan, run by one of the, at the time, by a guy called Kojo, who was also a rebellious, they formed a rebellion and killed many captors, killed many of the white folk who were capturing them in them times. They won't tell you those stories though, because they don't want you to know that your ancestors actually stood up to them. You know, there were several rebellions and people that decided that they would rather die on the ship than get transported like that. Do you know what I mean? There were several stories of that, you know, where boats would sink. There were instances of rebellions like that. You know, the rebellions were even in the plantation fields. People were rebelling and fighting back. You get what I'm saying? Like, so there are also definitely different instances that are going around. there are definitely different instances that show us that we are never going to take this line down. We've never been the people, nor the type. And to see, obviously, you know, Kendrick support like that and go to a front line. And I think for me, just to end it on this point when it talks about Kendrick and Kendrick Sampson, you know, when you see obviously celebrities on the front line getting shot the way they do, you ask yourself serious questions. Then what, if they're getting shot, who else would get shot? All of us. Which is why it's all of us to stand up and to do something. And you know what's funny? One something came to my mind was that Moses and Joshua in the Bible talks about when Moses lifted his hands, Joshua would win the fight. So it's like there are two forms. There's fighting that we do by prayer, but there's also some groundwork that needs to be done. And so yeah, I mean, I don't condone the rioting. I don't condone us kicking people. Like I saw a video where someone kicked someone in the head, and I was like, that's too far. Like you've beaten a person up and then you're kicking a person in the head. It's madness, and it's not right. It's not the correct thing to do. But hey, we're here. So guys, yeah, let us know your thoughts down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. Hey, remember, you have the minerals, baby. You have the minerals.